This is the Job Stories Podcast, how people find work that matters. This is the Job Stories Podcast. We're just going to walk through your story. That's all. Cool. To kind of get us started, thanks for coming on, Darbi. And if you don't mind, do you care to just introduce yourself and what is your job currently and who do you work for?
Absolutely. Well, my name is Darbi Bolton, and I am one of the co-founders and general manager of Stay Local Nashville. So obviously, I just kind of told you what I do for Stay Local. I'm the main problem solver, I guess. If somebody else can't solve the problem, then it tends to go my way. So we do short-term rentals, so Airbnbs, what people traditionally know as a short-term rental. We host all kinds of different people. We average about 1,000 checkouts or more per month. Year to date, we've hosted over 6,000 groups of people since January 1st of this year, which is COVID. What? It's pretty nuts. So there's a ton of different moving parts to it. Down to the operations side of stuff and getting a house clean, down to the linens, all the way over to like the guest relations side of stuff, and then marketing and business development. I mean, it's really turned into quite a monster that we've accidentally grown.
It's amazing. And kind of help me get, I actually don't know if I know all of this, but how did that kind of come about? I was about to ask how old is Stay Local, but I'd rather kind of get into your story. We'll get into that. So how did you kind of get into this? How'd you get into owning and co-founding a short-term rental business?
Yeah, the story is kind of crazy, actually. We started in 2015, so we are currently to date about 7.5 years old. So we're still pretty young compared to a lot of other people out there that have been doing this, in the Florida Panhandle for 25, 35 years kind of thing. It's more of a legacy business. We started in 2015 because I got licensed as a realtor in Nashville in Tennessee in 2006. And just started building my regular old real estate business up and doing all of that. And then I had a client in 2015 who was a professional baseball player at the time, very young, early 20s. And they're gone, 9 months, 10 months out of the year with spring training, the baseball schedules and whatnot. And I mean, he actually moved to Nashville and they played for, at the time he was playing for the Padres all the way out in California. So he was doing quite a bit of traveling and whatnot. And so they looked at me after I sold them the house and they said, we would love somebody to Airbnb this while we're gone, just to, cover some expenses and whatnot. But that's also how we travel. Like, we're young, we're cool, we're hip, we're trendy. We'd love to do the same thing in return because that's what we do. So they asked me if I knew anybody. And I said, no, I don't, but I'll check around my office. And so I started asking around my office and had a couple of people reply and, refer me to some other people that were already kind of managing. Because at this time too, like Airbnb was created in 2008. So they were still very new. It was very, very, very new to the platform. And then all of a sudden, Taryn Chapin popped in with an email to me and said, "Hey girl, you should do it yourself. This is real easy. Oh my God, you're leaving a lot of money on the table." And that no bigger lie has ever been told to me by Taryn Chapin. So
shout out to Taryn.
I looked at her and I was like, "Taryn, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't. So, but I'll do it if you'll do it with me." And we kind of just started. And the original plan was for her to make some extra money to cover her car note or her kids' school tuition and whatnot. And that's what it was. I wanted to cover her car note. She wanted to cover her kids' school tuition. And we did that in less than 6 weeks. And it was just wild. And it's kind of become this crazy monster ever since. It's been nuts. So
yeah. That's phenomenal. I'm also interested to hearing, I know it sounds like it got off to the races pretty quick, but you've always been someone that I know to be open to feedback and you've learned from things that maybe haven't gone so well and ups and downs and stuff like that. So do you mind to talk a little bit about like that, like almost like learning from failures as it relates to Stay Local, like where there's some stuff you learned early on that you're like, this has shaped us to who we are today and things like that. Kind of what's your take on that whole, like, why is that? I know you think that way, but like, how did that come about for you?
Yeah. Honestly, we really do have a passion for what we do, whether we like it some days or not. I mean, that's kind of typical with any job, but we really do have a serious passion for it, and we've grown it into a really good business that can affect, our children to come, and then our grandchildren to come, and so we've kind of built something that's really important and on the table right now. As far as like business operations go, I mean, we're always up for trying something new, and then always up for stopping it if it's not working. Like the laundry system, we started originally by doing laundry on site in properties, and that ended up not working out so well after a while. So we ended up renting out a coin laundry place overnight, so then we could move laundry off site. Tried that. That ended up being more of a people problem because there's not a manager to watch people and who's going to be on a night crew.
Right.
Not really your top tier of people kind of situation. And so that went sideways in a different way, but it was improving from where we were before. And then we decided, let's actually build out our own facilities. And so we did. Now we've got a ton of machinery, and it's really wild. And I never thought I'd geek out over laundry equipment. And here I am. I love it. So I feel like we're really good at pivoting whenever we see something not working. Like starting a whole new process on Tuesday because something's not working. So we're giving something a whole brand new process and procedure a go.
Yeah, that's special. I mean, that's a testament to y'all. I'm us having started our own business too. It's like, it's that awareness. Hey, that didn't work. We need to make the hard decision to try something else. Cause a lot of times I think for us, we've already put time and energy and money into that thing. And then we're like, oh crap, it's not working. So you have to pivot. So it's cool to see y'all do that. Do y'all have that kind of emotional thing too? Once you put time, money, energy, you're like, I don't want to pivot, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to feed the monster that you created too.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. I just knowing this about y'all, wanted to touch on this too, because we talked about this offline, but y'all have a real specific, because we do have, our audience for this is like half candidate base, half entrepreneur base. Maybe this is more on the candidate side and maybe on the hiring manager side too. I don't know, but y'all are real specific with your hiring. Do you mind to talk a little bit about the process that y'all go through with the survey? Just mention what that is and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to try not to geek out on you about this. This is my favorite thing in the whole wide world to talk about because it makes the biggest impact. So I apologize in advance. Just cut me off if you're like, Darby, we got it.
Well, I'll let you, because when I worked for you and we went through this process, it really helped shape me to knowing what kind of this kind of path of more sales and relationship building that I'm in now was a lot. It had so much to do with when I worked for y'all and we did this. So I'll geek out all you want. Yeah.
Good. Yay. Awesome. Okay. So our biggest, most important factor with our entire company is culture, period. If you have a really bad company culture, you're going to see really high turnover. People aren't going to be happy. There's gonna be a lot of drama and all that kind of stuff. Like there's like a cancer in your organization that just spreads like wildfire. So we really pride ourselves on culture, and we really scrutinize the heck out of anybody that we even interview. Like if you make it as far as the interview process, that's pretty huge. That means that we're just not looking at you because you have a pulse kind of situation. So typically what I do now, let's just say we have a job opening. Actually, we'll use a real life example from June of this year. I posted a job on Indeed for a work from home position for our guest relations department. And within 48 hours, I had about 200 applicants apply, and they were local people. They were from all over the country, that kind of stuff. Normally you would go through those and you would look through a resume and you would try to pick out the people that are most qualified, and then you would interview them from there. We don't do it that way. We actually do it kind of an opposite way. I send you a link to a personality survey. It's called Culture Index. So just kind of putting that into perspective, there's Myers-Briggs that everybody's familiar with. It's the most popular one, the most commonly used. That's about 65% accurate, which is good, but there's still a big margin of error there too. Culture Index is actually 91% accurate, which is pretty huge. I mean, I've got a 9% margin of error. So I send them a link to Culture Index, and they take the survey. It takes 8 to 10 minutes. It's not pass or fail. It's not good or bad. It just tells me who you are at your core, and you are who you are by the age of 12. Like that's how it happens. who you are by the age of 12. And it tells me, are you a multitasker? Are you a methodical, one thing at a time kind of person? Are you wickedly high on detail? Do you not have any detail? Is your autonomy through the roof and you're all about me? Or are you a team player and are you more about we? Tells me if you're an introvert or an extrovert, all kinds of fun things about that. So I send the same link to all 200 applicants that we had back in June. And I would say about half of them, only about 100 people actually took the time to fill out Culture Index. So that's great. I've already weeded out half of these bad people that didn't want to give me the time of day. And so therefore, I might have chosen from that pool and not realized that I picked somebody who really didn't care at all. So now I'm down to 100 people. So I then start looking through these surveys and I'm looking for particular traits that match that job, because I don't want to put someone like that job is a very high multitasking environment. I don't want to put someone in that position that's not a multitasker because it's going to stress them out. They're going to end up quitting because it's not matching their natural human abilities and what they do every day. So I go through these Culture Index profiles and I hand select which ones I think actually are the best fit for that job. And by this time, I haven't even looked at anyone's resume. Not one resume has been opened at all. So I take that list of 100 and I narrow it down usually to about 30 people based on their Culture Index results alone. Then I look at their resumes. Sometimes I look at the resume and I'm like, did you type that with your eyes closed? And maybe your formatting's all off or something like that. Yeah. Because people don't really think about it. Like, whenever you put your resume together, you get your mom to look at it, make sure it looks good. You get your friends to look at it, make sure it looks good. Like there's a lot of outside influence that goes into it that can affect really who you are. And it could be a total scam. You don't know. So from there, if I have, 30 Culture Index profiles, I then usually end up whittling it down to 10 or 12 people based on their resume alone, and then interview those. So thinking about it on a grand scheme of things, like if I'm now interviewing 10 people out of 200, I've found the cream of the crop and the people that I need. Like that is a very small percentage of people that I needed to hit. And I would have most likely missed them completely because I had such a big margin. I had 95% chance of choosing the wrong person, So we interview from there. And then from the first interview section, we actually then go on to a second interview and whittle the stick down a little bit more. But it's really, really wild, like people are who they are. And then my favorite part, though, is the first day they start. I'm like, I know everything about you. And you don't even know that I know these things about you. Like I know your deepest, darkest secrets. It's pretty nuts. Like Mason, like your profile. I mean, you were a prime example. Like you are sales until the day is done. You are. But you, my friend, need to be supported with a brake pedal and also someone who has high detail. You do. And it's not good or bad at all, but it's about taking what qualities do you not have and pairing someone that has those qualities. So then you are one whole giant badass team. Yeah. It's huge. It's really huge.
This is probably kind of relates to what we were talking about earlier, but what I think is so cool, that's a really cool story on the hiring and interview process. But what I thought was really cool that y'all did that I don't think a lot of companies think about. I may be naive, but I don't think they do. But y'all had us take the survey. We were already employed, but y'all had us take the survey, and then y'all moved us around. Y'all literally moved us around based off that. I mean, y'all made the decision, we are going all in on this. And I felt better in my new position. Truly, it felt more. So I can speak from an employee standpoint where yes. Were you seeing did you see the company tick up by chance? I'm curious about, did you see just efficiency and stuff like that tick up as well?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, 100%. No questions at all. I mean, there are some jobs that I need someone who has zero detail in that position, like marketing, for example. Marketing, I don't want you to be constrained by your thought processes and this, like, you're put in a box kind of thing. That's me. I have boundaries. I follow rules, regulations, all the things. I would suck at marketing because I can't think outside the box. I can't be a big dreamer. But then when you have somebody like that, you need to pair them with someone who will say, okay, let's build a roadmap on how to get from A to Z kind of situation and actually guide that entire process while you got somebody who's like reaching for the stars kind of situation. But yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. When you were with us, That's actually in the middle of when Culture Index, we took it on, and we've had it ever since. And it's really been nuts because we had somebody as from Culture Index, the actual company, look at all these profiles who they don't know anybody. They've never even spoken a word to you. And they're saying this person based on their profile needs to be in this department, or this person needs to be head of this department, or whatever it is. And it's pretty wild because I'll even see profiles across my desk that I'm like, oh my God, that's a rare profile. That is an incredible, go get them, plug them in somewhere, and know that I'm going to end up grabbing them from operations and then putting them in finance because they have a 2% margin of error when it comes to detail,
Yeah.
Like I don't want somebody without really high detail dealing with our bank finances, in our P&L. Like I want somebody who is so anal retentive, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 of them now. So yeah, it's great. It's really awesome.
That's so cool. Yeah. I've appreciated watching that with leaders that, again, willing to pivot like you talked about, and then also take such intention from that standpoint with your employees culturally. Like noticing like, it's not that they're necessarily, or for me, like it's not necessarily that I was doing a horrible job where I was, but y'all knew, and I'm just speaking from my experience, but y'all just knew like he'd do a lot better and probably be happier over here. And that was true for me. I'm sure it was for everybody else too.
Yeah, because it is who you are by the age of 12. And you might not even have realized that you had this crazy profile that's attached to you. That is very rare. Like you can literally convince anybody to do anything and make them think it's their idea. And it is incredible. It's incredible, Mason. It's scary, but it's incredible.
That's funny. Okay. Enough about me.
You're like, oh man, this isn't about
so seriously though, back to you. What excites you? I always like to ask guests this. It can be professionally, it can be personally, but what's next down the road? I know what I'm excited for with you and I attached to it. We got a big swim race coming up, but anyway, what's exciting you for what's coming up for you?
I'm really excited because we've had a heck of a last couple of years with COVID. We had a record year in 2019, started 2020 off really, really, really great. And then just like a lot of businesses, took a massive nosedive for, in March of 2020. The hospitality industry took even more of a hit, I feel like, than hospitality and entertainment in general. Nobody was touring anymore. People aren't traveling to urban markets, which is what Nashville is. So we actually took quite a hit. A lot of people took a hit for a couple months. We took a hit for about 18 months. So we didn't really start seeing business truly coming back until last summer. So it's summer of 2021. So as of right now, like I'm a full year into having to basically rebuild the business and then some. Like we're bigger now than we were pre-COVID. So we had to stop, drop, and roll and rebuild the entire business in a year or less. And that's been really wild. But I'm excited now that we've got this momentum, we've got this growth. We're still headed in that direction very, 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 very steadily. I'm excited just to work on the business rather than in it, because that's really what it's been doing the last year, actually now 2.5 years at this point, working in it. And I want to work on it, really take a quick step back and really look at the grand scheme of things and really start building stuff out in a different, more methodical kind of way. So as opposed to chasing my tail all the time. So
that's a really cool perspective. That's really well said. I love that. Yeah. And y'all are so important for Nashville. We don't exclusively have Nashville based people on this podcast, but I always love when I do, especially you, because of just building community here, building ecosystems here. And y'all are so important. I mean, y'all are part of a huge industry in our city that's very special. I mean, people love to come here. So, appreciate y'all. Yeah.
Yeah. Likewise.
Darbi, I love you. When people, if anybody hears this and they're like, hey, I'd like to reach out, learn more about Stay Local, learn more about Darbi, is there a place that they can reach out to you if they want to?
Absolutely. Yeah. So our website is pretty easy to find. It's staylocalnashville.com. So you can't can't miss that. And then you can also drop us an email at info@staylocalnashville.com. And those gals will get it because they have passed Culture Index and they are actually monitoring that inbox the way that they are designed to do. They'll actually get any emails where they should be going. But yeah, we do short-term rentals, we do long-term rentals, and we actually do a hybrid of the two that people commonly refer to as a corporate rental. So it's 31 days or more. It's fully furnished, basically like business travelers or people that move here that are looking to buy a house but don't want to buy yet for 6 months or something. So we do anything and everything. If it rents, call me.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Darbi. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for your time. This is cool stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. You have a great day, and we will talk soon.
That's right. Awesome. That's awesome. I'll see you at the pool, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Later. We'll see you.
All right.
Thanks,
bye.
Darbi. Bye.